The reason we procrastinate in different areas of our life is because of different things that happen that make us do that. It's that all of our procrastination is not the same, and I'm sure you'll have all figured that out now while we're halfway through this 8-week course, right? So is it because of poor performance? So let's look at those KRAs and find out why, right? So we've got a quote here from James Baker: proper preparation prevents poor performance. And I know you guys have all heard that before. So what are we going to talk about here? We're going to define and describe key result areas. We're going to keep saying KRAs. That's what that means. And we're talking about the life KRAs and the business KRAs. So we're going to talk about two different category examples, and then we're going to give you your own list of critical activities so that you can like move forward, because we're going to have another assignment for you guys, obviously, as well. So success in life, employability, and all the bottom line of your business are all surrounded by these big seven. And we're going to give you 4 different categories of big 7. Poor performance and procrastination. Poor performance on your key result areas will encourage you to procrastinate on engaging with them, right? So we're going to conquer that, right? Learning to enhance or delegate your KRAs, evaluating your strengths and weaknesses will permit you to decide whether it's in your best interest to enhance that specific skill set or to say, I really don't want to do this even though it needs to be done. Let me find somebody else to get this done. And it may not even necessarily be your skill set is not good. You may have something else to do. Example being, I have a client who wants to make calls to businesses during the daytime to do some B2B type sales. But the issue is, the challenge is that person has a full-time job at that time. So they can't make B2B calls because they are at their 9 to 5 during the B2B hours. Who can relate to that? So that is, right, I have to prospect, right, which is one of the 7 KRAs for sales. But it's not that the person doesn't want to prospect. It's not that the person doesn't know how to prospect. It's not that they do it in a poor fashion. It's that they can't fit it in their schedule because their schedule doesn't allow them to do that particular KRA during that time because they have a 9 to 5, which, if you learn from our lesson, is what? It's a boundary. It's something that's immovable. They cannot move their job, right, to make those calls, but those calls need to be made. Y'all can relate to that? So that person had to delegate the calls. They did research on the companies they wanted to call that night and then gave their research list to a third party who then made the calls and set appointments for them, and they paid that person. So that is them delegating, right, on the business side, delegating that that one of those 7 KRAs, which is prospecting, the very first KRA, they've given that over because they know that it doesn't fit into their schedule, right? So hopefully this all makes sense. So answering the deep dive question, if you could enhance at least one of your KRAs, which one would it be, and how would it affect your life, career, and business, right? And or business. And I'm gonna show you these KRAs now, so if you're not thinking, hey, you keep saying KRA, but you're not showing them to me. Well, here they go, right? Here's the first 2 big 7. One is for sales, one is for management. So if you manage a team, if you're a supervisor at your 9 to 5, if you lead a team in your church or somewhere else, anywhere that you're running an organization, the KRAs for management will help you on that side. The KRAs for sales will help you if you're in any sales position where you're making phone calls to sell a particular widget, right? So here we go, defining it. It's a concept on which the individual and organization performance is measured on the critical activities which have an impact on the bottom line of the business. And obviously, when Coach Branch talk about the life KRAs, it's not going to be on the bottom line of your business. It's going to be on your mental health, on the stability of your home, and all these other things that may play a part, right? So you're going to hear a lot about that. Simply put, the tasks that must be completed in order to remain productive and helpful, right? Everybody get that? Put a 3 in the chat. This is all making sense, right? It's coming together for you. Let's hit the 7, the big 7 for sales first. Prospecting, building rapport and trust, identifying the needs of the prospect or the client, presenting that product or service persuasively, answering the objectives patiently. So I want you to look at that those last words, right? persuasively, right? Not just presenting, but presenting persuasively. Not just answering objectives, but answering those objectives patiently. Closing the sale and then getting resales and getting referrals. That is the 7 KRAs on the side of sales. And then on the side of management, you've got planning, organizing, staffing, delegating, supervising, measuring, and reporting. If you guys agree with these, in the world that you live in, if these make sense, right? Put a 5 in the chat so I know that these you can understand where these will come into play. You want to do these in this particular order, right? You obviously want to prospect and then build rapport with that prospect, build trust with that prospect, and then you want to identify the needs of that prospect. Once they're a client, now you're going to identify the needs of that client, once you got them to that point. Presenting the product once you build rapport and trust, answering their objectives after you present to them, closing the sale, and then after you closing the sale, upsell them, cross-sell them, and ask them for referrals. All of these things are important and they line up. And if you get these out of order, if you fall short on one of them, right? If you're a 7 instead of a 10 in presenting persuasively, that means the highest level that you're going to reach in this particular sales event is going to be a 7. I need you guys to be clear. This is why it's so important to enhance or delegate. Because at the lowest level that you're at on one of these particular 7 is going to determine where you land at on the whole process. So that's why it's so important to look at these and say, which ones am I not good at? Can I sharpen that skill or can I delegate? Right? Whether it's to an automated system or whether it's to a flat out individual, right? A virtual assistant or somebody that you're going to freelance to do that particular thing. So let's look at description. Key result areas broadly define the job profile for the employee or the responsibilities of the business owner. This enables them to have a better clarity of their role. KRAs should be well-defined, quantifiable, and easy to measure. It also helps employees and entrepreneurs to align their role with that of the organization that they're a part of. So whether you're just a flat out individual business owner, or whether you're a part of an outfit like some of you all here are part of Legal Shield, and you say, or PPLSI, you say, I'm an individual business owner, but I'm still an independent associate of a bigger organization, and I have to do certain things in a certain way so that it aligns with the full process, so that I'm playing team, not just being this isolated independent associate who's doing these rogue things so that my business grows, but the organization can't do what I'm doing. Is that fair to say? So this is why this is such a big turnaround and where you can go in your business. And when Coach Branch talks about where you can go in your life with the life ones, you're going to also see where those will tie in. What you're doing in your life ties into how your business runs, which was the entire reason why Coach Branch and myself got together to form a company, is because we realized that your business can be very stagnant if your life is in shambles, right? Put a 6 in the chat if that's a fair statement. So looking at these particular KRAs, there's trainings that you can do for all of these different things so that you get better at them. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Don't be concerned and say, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. There's always trainings to learn how to prospect better. There's always trainings on the management side that can show you how to plan, right? Bouncing back to the sales side. There's always trainings to show you how to build rapport and trust, right? On the management side, there's always trainings to show you how to organize better. Does that make sense? There's plenty of things that you can do to get better, and there's plenty of ways you can delegate it through automation or to an actual assistant or a freelancer. But we have to focus on these KRAs so that we can make sure we're getting better. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper on the life side because that's more psychological. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Coach Branch here so we can talk about the life KRAs as well. And then we're going to dig a little bit on that. So Coach Branch.